Hello everyone, Wardy here as we go into our third series of the round of 8 of the WardiTV 25,000 YouTube sub Invitational. Thank you so much for all the support the last couple of videos. I know you guys have been enjoying these games, which is awesome to hear. The comments have been alive as well. First of all, though, let me introduce these players. Before I say any more, this round of 8 match is freaking awesome. In the bottom right, we get ourselves the blue Zerg player, Rogue. And we gotta sink our teeth deep into some ZvT. As in the bottom left-hand side, we've got ourselves Clem, the Red Terran, who has been tearing up a storm this year. We'll see how he fares against Rogue, who is a little bit hot and cold when it comes to online events. This was, just to kind of be clear as well, this was played in advance of Rogue being kind of in the GSL finals and stuff. It's not like a super old replay or anything, but this didn't really, don't think that Rogue's about to play a GSL finals, so this is a game that's like, oh, he doesn't give a shit or anything. Like, this was played, far enough away that that wasn't really on his mind or anything. Like, he wasn't hiding strats or anything like that. We had these played during around the first week of August, so it was about a week or so ago. So, yeah, just as we get into this, guys, just want to say thanks, because I'm looking at the stats of the last couple videos. I just want to say you guys have been freaking killing it. The Showtime Innovation series was the first series that went up in this event. Great matchup if you didn't see it, and it's almost at 1,000 likes, which is actually madness. So you know what, guys? If you can ram this video full of likes to get even close to 1,000, or even like halfway as much as the Showtime Innovation one, it's amazing. Honestly, the effect that's had, it's crazy how much of an impact it has on the views and stuff, and how it gets sent out to people. So hit that like button, of course, if you enjoy what you hear, and subscribe. This whole event is a celebration of having hit a great subscriber count. And hey, back to the matter, you guys enjoy this a lot. We hit more subscriber counts, we'll do more YouTube only tournaments in the future too. As we get 2 minutes in, it's a hatch gas and pool. Drone scout from Rogue, he was just making sure up here there was nothing, I believe. And other than that, he's just going to move to a pretty quick third base. So Rogue to a fairly quick third. Clem on the other side is Reaper expanding. And we get ourselves into a pretty standard ZvT scenario for the first few minutes of this game. Nothing really to kind of be puzzled about or anything along those lines just yet, as these Lings going to be chasing down a Reaper. So a bit of back and forth there. That's a grenade to pop a drone just slightly. Queen pops out, and that's going to be the Reaper having to keep on running. Gets it to self a drone kill. Yeah, I think this Reaper will be very happy right now as it moves up, sees the third base. And yeah, get yourself a drone kill early on top of a Ling, and you get to scout the third. I think Clem will be very happy with what this Reaper was able to achieve in the early few moments. So the next step, obviously, we really want to see what Clem wants to do with the build. We already saw double gas, so it will be a starport. And we'll just see Hellions. Of course, Clem's builds really are, very bio-focused, right? And he really doesn't like doing a lot of crazy stuff. He really does like to sort of stick to Hellions and a Viking, or Hellions and a Liberator. Sometimes he mixes in a Hellion drop, but all of it leads into a fairly quick stim pack. He wants to get into that bio play. He doesn't want to mess around before that too much. Now, we did actually see Clem versus Rogue in the Doyu Cup, was it? And we uploaded that series to YouTube too. So if you caught that one, you'll know that that series kind of did go into some longer games, right? Some games where Clem actually felt as though he had pretty good control. And I believe it was a game on Eternal Empire. It fell apart because Rogue played a crazy style with mutas, and he was super active and super divey with them. Very aggressive. And it was another game that Clem lost where he was in control on Everdream, where he was actually doing a big 8-1-1 push, and he just ate 2 Balins, which if he didn't eat, he probably would have won the game, So I truly believe that these guys could have an awesome series here. If we have, games similar to those previous games that they played, this is absolutely a possibility of showing up and delivering and putting out some great games. Just fun games, especially so, because like I say, those previous games definitely weren't standard. They definitely weren't the kind of the go-to. They definitely were like a little bit of heightened aggression to bring us to this point, or to bring us through that series. And those games definitely be on the mind of the players too, right? If you've played someone recently, you probably think to yourself, well, I played this guy recently, this is what happened there, how do I change it up? Clem will try and say to himself, how do I stop the game going into his control, I can't really let the game get to the point where he has 30 meters that will just dive bomb every single base, even if there are 3 Thors right there. Right now, he's going to start by applying early pressure. Clem with the Liberator to the top side. He wants to make a move. I mean, that's a siege on the third base, absolutely. Spore Crawler only just starting to build. So that Liberator will get siege. Hey, the Hellions are going to come running in as the Liberator sieges. So the drones are running into the Hellions. And Clem makes a pretty clean pickup on 4 drones, but then he stops to fight the Lings, and he somehow gets all 6 Hellions out alive. And the Liberator is obviously just going elsewhere too. Wow, I was convinced that Liberator was still going to be in range there, but apparently not. Queen's going to go down. Rogue not paying attention. Clem will stay committed, and he'll just pick off these drones. As he finds some more drones with the Hellions, the Lings will now start to respond. Wow. This was a chaotic opening, but it was Clem that was creating the chaos. 8 workers killed early. I love that he still has a few Hellions alive as well, because by having a few Hellions remaining alive, you actually still have that little bit of safety against some of the Link counterattacks. It makes your third base a little bit easier to hold, and those are things when you're playing against Rogue, which I think you've got to look at and be like, hell yeah. You know, that's absolutely fantastic for me. Alright, well, Clem is really well progressed in his bio upgrades too. 1-1 well on the way. Considering that Rogue went for early Evo chambers, you can see these upgrades are just going to match. So Clem really didn't wait too long before getting his own 1-1 up. He already has Stim. What that means is as 1-1 and combat shields completes, we do have that potential for a bit of a push across the map. That push should time out before there's any sort of baneling speed on the map. And if it times out when there's any before any baneling speed, well, that's a pretty big deal. You know, if there's no baneling speed, then yeah, then it can be a little bit tough, right? But that's kind of the whole point of this attack. Although Clem, he doesn't go for the push as I expected. He actually just goes to drop, and I guess that's because the factory has just been relocating to rebuild a tech lab. He hasn't lost a second tank. Just usually you'd see 2 tanks, and then you'd kind of push with that. Okay, well, this double drop is actually going to see the Overlord. He's not going to turn around and kill it, but Rogue has spotted the double drop coming in, so he'll move down to position. Those few Hellions going to make this that little bit trickier here from Rogue. He does have Banelings though as he starts running in to fight this. The Marines target fire is good so far. Target fire stays great. All 5 Banelings go down. There's a Baneling blocked by the Queen right now. You know what? Doesn't matter. All the Lings go down. Oh my god. This was not a fight Rogue was meant to pick, huh? Queen goes down, the other Lings as well, and GG is called, and Clem picks up a quick, aggressive game 1. You know what? This is just a classic case of you lost a few drones as the Zerg, and the Terran bio upgrades really hit hard when they hit you after losing a few drones. It's the strength of bio. You get a bit of momentum, you don't stop it going, and you just run yourself into that Zerg base. And, well, in this case, Rogue picked a fight where he maybe needed to buy time, maybe needed to sacrifice a 4th after losing drones early, so he didn't have enough units to pour into this fight. GG's, Rogue is going to drop the first game, and it is Clem to take the first map of this best of 5. Clem off to a quick fire. Well, I was just talking about the last time they played on Eternal Empire, and the last time they played on Eternal Empire, it was absolutely bonkers of a game. You know, you had Mutilas flying everywhere, Clem just couldn't quite get a foothold, and it was really one of the more entertaining TVZs I've seen as of late. And that really goes a long way because, you know, TVZ is one of the more entertaining matchups from my point of view to begin with. You know, this is my favorite matchup. I will never deny that. I will pretty much always come out and just, you know, straight up say it. As Clem is in the top right-hand side from Team Liquid, his opponent in the bottom left, the red Zerg player Rogue, and we're off to a game number 2. Well, like I said, Rogue just took some early drone damage in that last game, and early drone damage when your opponent is crisp and clean on the macro is so difficult to recover from. You know, it's that sort of scenario where it's like, if he's playing mech, then you actually have time to recover, but if he's playing bio, the first attack hits so quickly that you just don't. And especially because Clem, what he did as well was, he didn't actually just go for a, you know, he didn't actually just, go for the big push. He actually dropped, and because he dropped, the Marines were across the map pretty quickly, supported just by Hellions. And if that was a, you know, if that was a Marine tank push, usually it walks across the map, it's in a bit of a different place. And I think in that case, Rogue has creep, Rogue maybe has a few more seconds to prepare, and maybe it's a very different story. But by deciding to drop to the top side for the 4th, Rogue decided to take that fight, and it just was not a fight he could realistically take. And it did not work out for him in the slightest in the end. Rogue down a map, of course, as we go into game number 2. And we do have our SCV of Clem on its way down to the bottom left side, off on a wander. I wanted an investigation. A little bit of a scout. As if Harston was here, he'd be telling me all about the male Karak and how he's been doing today. His survival rate in the last 74 games of Eternal Empire or something. That man knows way too much about critters, I'm telling you. As if he shows up, a little bit of a patrol. And just gonna go patrolling around on the third base here. So, patrolling on the third just a little bit. Ling speed is setting up from Rogue. And the Reaper coming across the map as well from Clem. And he's gonna hop up into the natural expansion where, well, there's a few Lings that were initially just nibbling some unbuildable plates. These Lings gonna turn and we're gonna have a bit of back and forth with the Reaper now. A good little bit of fighting there. There's Reaper trying to put up some pressure. The Ling speed on the way in from Rogue as well, so that Ling speed is already coming through as the Queen comes forward. Reaper pops that Queen back. Grenade doing some decent damage, and the drone continues across to the third location, which is... wow, just going to get played. I mean, this Reaper could have blocked it, actually, but at the end of the day, the block would have been nice. It would have bought a few seconds. Would it have bought too much time? No, because the Queen is there. So Rogue's already put in the hard work to defend it. I like this, pushing the Queen back a little bit longer until it gets back home. That delays the creep tumor coming down over here. That's what the Queen has the energy for. It's not going to drop a second inject. So yeah, should be looking to drop a creep tumor. Obviously wants to do that when the Reaper is hopefully a little bit further away. Clem. Oh, that was really close to target firing that. If he actually put the grenade on the creep tumor, he might have gotten it, but at the same time, then the two Queens would have been firing at the same time, and maybe then the Reaper goes down. That's a tough call. But also, maybe the Reaper turns around faster because the creep tumor actually goes down more quickly, and he doesn't sit around trying to make it happen for longer. Right, there's a couple ways to look at that. As the Reaper and two Hellions make their way towards the natural. Queens are there, pushing the Hellions away. Zoning out as once again this Liberator play from Clem, so pretty much a repeat of game number one. No reason to change it up, but Rogue is going to search up his style. He goes into the Lair as the second game build order. So this game he will look for a faster Spire, a faster Baneling Nest, and a faster Baneling Speed. By the way, can I just say, I've always thought the Lair, I never really realized that the Lair is literally just a bit of goop on top of a hatchery. I thought it was like a whole morphing thing. Like, this is just a hatchery that had some like Play-Doh dropped on top of it. That's pulsing and it kind of has a heartbeat or something. It's a little weird, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just gooped on top. Is that how Zerg structures morph? You just put a bit of goop on top and then you let it, you know, settle down for a minute and then just merges? Zerg's a weird race, man. It's real weird. Hellions show up on the third base, coming straight in. That's a dead drone to start us off, and two more Hellions joining the Queens. Wanting to push this back. The Reaper and the Hellion taking some damage. So Hellions back to the middle. Do you have this Liberator going to take a turn into the mineral line, and that's going to be a couple of drones. And can start going down already. So yeah, I mean, just again, looking for opportunities here, Clem. Looking for openings, chances to get damage done. As this Liberator, honestly, I like what it's doing so far. Keeping this Spore Crawler active. Dodging, you know, reassessing the situation, relocating. And just being in general a nuisance without actually having to commit itself in. It's still pretty healthy. So he's still got time to make use of this. Obviously, once the Spire gets up, that Liberator is a goner. But until then, may as well just keep it going. Hey, these Hellions make their way up. They get the first few Lings for free. Now he's going to find a couple of drones transferring between the bases. So that's Clem getting a couple worker kills as well once more early. But it's not quite as bad as last time. That said, you still do have these Hellions alive. And if they join up with the fight, that can be very powerful too. I'd like to see that Baneling speed, by the way. I feel like right now Rogue is not getting Baneling speed, and that's a very costly affair. Hello, Rogue? Can we get Baneling speed? If Rogue don't get Baneling speed, then a lot of what, you know, one of the big benefits of going for such a fast lair really does just disappear. He loses a Queen to a Liberator once again. Okay, this time he doesn't lose the drones, but even losing a Queen to a Liberator is a little bit off from what you'd expect from Rogue. And I will not lie, guys, he's played a little bit sloppy so far in these first couple of games. Some little mistakes in the early stages that I don't really expect from someone as good as Rogue. He's a man to make a crap ton of Mutalisks, but this Baneling speed should have started a minute and a half ago even, you know, when the Spire started, more or less. Because that's an upgrade you're always going to get. He was sitting there with money, you know, gas in the bank anyway. It wouldn't have slowed down his meter count because he started it as he finished the Spire. There's just no reason to not have Baneling speed. And now he's in trouble. Queen's going to get popped back, and these Hellions might even get a cancel on the 4th base to begin with. Obviously, Clem doesn't want to lose them. There's a few Lings run out, but here come the Marines, here comes a Siege Tank, and Clem is just going to set up camp outside the 4th base. The Hellions have done a good job moving around, so there's not really proper creep spread here to defend this, and Rogue, well, I mean, he's got Mutalisk this time around, but again, he's meant to have Baneling speed, but he doesn't even have any Banelings. This is an absolute disaster. Mutalisk flying into Marines, and, well, that's just not even a fight. And Clem is going to run into a 2-0 advantage early in this series. You know, we need to see a different Rogue showing up in Game 3. I'm just going to go out there and say this, guys. Sometimes series, you know, they do disappoint, and 2 games deep, I'm disappointed. I was expecting a lot more from Rogue. Rogue is not the kind of player that should be falling apart at Clem's first push of the game. Right? Like, Rogue is not the player that should die because he lost a couple of drones and a queen, and he forgets Baneling speed. You know what I mean? This is not the series I wanted it to be. I'm a little disappointed right now. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope and pray that game number 3 can maybe get a little bit more exciting. If this is a 3-0 to Clem, then I really am sad. You know, then I might actually just go into hiding and just cry for a little while. Okay, guys, let's hope I'm not a sad Wardy after game 3, which is up next. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player on ice and chrome is Clem. Up against the red Zerg in the top right, it's Rogue. Well, Clem was going to send SCVs across the map as he's up 2-0, and this might just be a quick, dirty finish to the to the series. 3-0, get out of here. Clem goes to the semis. Oh, yeah. Let's see how this goes. It's actually just 2 SCVs, so 2 Rax proxy, it seems, for the start of this. Just as a quick update on the bracket, no spoilers. We're not going to spoil any of the matches in case you didn't watch the other games, but this side of the bracket is the winner of Rogue versus Clem versus the winner of Sue versus Stats. Sue versus Stats will go up as an upload tomorrow, and the other side of the bracket, just in case you weren't watching so far, was Innovation versus Showtime, and also we had TY versus Cess. So that's where the bracket stands in this round of 8, and so on. Like I said, we won't be doing any spoilers. If you do want to check out more information from the tournament, I'll put a link to the TL thread below. The first post in that TL thread will never have spoilers. If you do go deeper, people will be discussing the games and there will be spoilers, but the first post has all the information you should need for the bracket and stuff like that. And outside of that, there's the Wikipedia page, which will have spoiler results on it, but only after a day or so of a game being up. That's linked to on the TL thread, just in case you want to check that out as well. So yeah, that will be updated, I guess, I imagine. Yeah, I'm just actually checking that the Wikipedia page gets updated. It does get updated. Okay, cool. So the Wikipedia page does get updated. If you do want to just go back and check some results, you can find that via the TL thread. And we will take a break from uploading these games for a couple of days. So I do want to put player names in the titles of the semifinals, etc., because the player names really do help viewership. So we will put the player names in the titles of the semifinals, but I'll give you guys a couple days to watch everything in the quarterfinals if you do want to do that first. All right. Bunkers are down, Marines are coming through. There wasn't really much to say about this 2-Rax. It was not scouted by Rogue, so it's an on-the-fly defense once he sees the bunkers. He pulls drones and gets a decent surround to start. He loses 2, but I like the damage he's done. Now remember, the whole point of this drone pull is to buy time for the Lings to deny a bunker. You can't really let a bunker up here. And unfortunately, that's not been the case. A bunker gets up, so now you've really got to play hard to defend and make sure these Marines don't get into the bunker. And you know what? So far, so good. The drones are not letting anything in. Lings are going to come to this bottom side, and I actually think he's done it. This bunker is going to get repaired. Oh, no. Lings, get the block off. Oh, it's a beautiful block as well, and these Marines are going to get turned away. The Queen is going to keep on picking away at that bunker, and oh, we see a couple Lings being picked off, but this is going to be okay, I think, as Rogue is just going to continue to push in and clean out Marines as they spawn, and this is a defense, absolutely. Rax are forced to lift off. Yeah, this was pretty sweet from Rogue to shut this down completely. No scout, just really good control on the drones right in the Lings, and getting on top of those Marines was able to put some good damage out. Hey, you know what? This is what we needed. Even if it turns out to be a quick game or a quick advantage, you know what? If Rogue can take a map, I'm excited that it's not going to be a 3-0, basically. That's what I'm hyped about right now. Lings move up and a nibble onto the depot. So Demo's taking a bit of damage. The reactor is built on that factory. Ling's just nibbling. Both the racks of Clem are going to fly back along into that main base. I mean, this is just frustrating, right? All of this time, you've got to pull SCVs to make sure you don't lose your wall off. Rogue does drop a Roach Roaring as a follow-up to this as well. So, Roach Roaring building. And that makes a lot of sense. Clem's going to go for a Fusion Core, so Battle Cruiser follow-up here. Obviously, doesn't want to play a super large map against Rogue, I don't think. Plus, maybe he just feels the need to get something done here anyway, and I can't really blame him for that in the slightest, in all honesty. As those Lings are going to turn back around, move back up to the top. Well, we're really just waiting to see this Roach Roaring finish, and I guess we're going to see a few Roaches to move across the map and at least to add some harassment here early. Double gas from Rogue, so it's not super crazy amounts of gas. He can afford 5 Roaches. There's just 5 Roaches, then he saves his gas for Ravagers. Honestly, 5 Roaches might just end the game. It depends what this Hellion Drop can do. If this Hellion Drop can somehow squeeze by and get a bunch of drones because the units are all on the map, then Clem might be okay, but there's now 8 Roaches on the way, so yeah. Honestly, this Roach Ling all-in is just going to be deadly. Because even the Hellions, they see a couple of Lings, but now the medevac is known about. So you just leave some Lings to defend the medevac, and then... Well, and then what? The Roaches are just going to go across the map without Clem knowing about them? Obviously, that ain't good. There's literally Roaches just walking across the map, and Clem has no idea. He has 2 Hellions at home. Guys, I want to make this series exciting, but I'm not going to lie. Even with Rogue running a map right now, this one is not exciting. I'm trying to... Okay, I mean, you know, we're going to get a 4th game out of this. And that is exciting. As Rogue, he's going to have way too much. I mean, the exciting part of this was the defense on the 2 racks. As we have the Roach Ravager pushing forward. These couple of Hellions already starting to go down. 1 Hellion falls. The 2nd Hellion just about escaping away. Lings will continue to stream across the map. And this Roach Ravager army will move straight in. Doesn't even lift the depot. Well, I mean, it was kind of over anyway. Even if this BC pops out, how many SCVs do you lose in attempting to defend this? Way, way, way too many. Rogue gets map 3. And we are going to have a fight here. You know? Even if, you know, it's literally Clem punches Rogue in the face, punches him again, and Rogue's like, wow, that really hurt, and he doesn't fight back. Suddenly, Rogue gives, you know, Clem a bit of a backhand, boom, whack, knocks him out. And can he finish him? Well, he needs 2 more maps, so we'll see if Rogue just goes God mode from here on out. Maybe a win will give him that little bit of motivation. We'll find out in game number 4, my friends. Oh, it just feels like we're skipping from game to game right now. Alright, friends, I appreciate I'm being a bit of a Debbie Downer about this series, but when this was the TVZ in the bracket, I was really hoping for something a little bit more epic, and it's just not been that so far, but there's still room for it to be as we go on to Everdream. In the top right-hand side, his tournament life still on the line. The blue Zerg player is Rogue. Holding off the 2 racks to give us a 4th map at the very least is in the bottom left. From Team Liquid, a red Terran player is Clem. And again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the video today. As we upload daily here on the YouTube channel, so as mentioned previously, if you do enjoy the games, do hit that subscribe button. A lot of people telling me in the comments, they're like, wow, Wardy, you know what? I finally checked out if I was a subscriber, and I wasn't. And I've been watching your videos all year. And I'm like, well... But this is the thing. Loads of people don't even realize they don't subscribe because apparently my videos just pop up in their timeline on YouTube anyway. So give it a check, guys. That subscriber count, it makes me happy when I see it go up, you know? But no, seriously, do hit that sub button if you want to follow and see when we upload more videos. We've had some great games the last few days on the stream, by the way, which will be going up kind of as the in-between of the quarterfinals and semifinals of this event. So you guys can watch out for those. They're going to be a whole bundle of fun, I promise you. Well, we're just going to be seeing the Overlord is continuing down to the bottom left side. And a setup here initially from Rogue, which says, you know, I'm not really afraid of another proxy racks. He doesn't really scout too much for it. In fact, he doesn't really scout at all for it. I think this Overlord took a very minor diversion. This one just sits out the front of the natural, which does kind of spot for proxy racks, right? You know, this is the sign of, hey, I want to see if an SCV comes in from a weird direction as soon as possible, and my Overlord can get to this safety pillar in case I need high ground, you know, need to get to high ground safety. As the SCV continues through, it's going to be having a little look to see what's going on here. Obviously, just seeing hatch gas pool allows the Reaper to come straight across the map. There's no doubt about it. Well, the Reaper can move straight across, as we are here on Everdream. So the last time they played, Clem chose for a very aggressive kind of 8 racks build on this map. It works well because you can really... I feel like the push up into this base here, it's very linear, right? It's up a very narrow pathway where the flank up opportunity is kind of up a ramp or up this ramp too, but then how do you get units down there in the first place as Rogue? It's very difficult. So the Terran push can really work very well on this map. It can definitely go a long way. And Clem, by the way, 3cc. So 1 gas, 3rd base. I'm going to see Clem just racking up the economy in the early stages of this 4th map. Clem really just wants to take this to a little bit of a later stage of the game as Rogue. Well, he's getting that link speed. He's getting that hatchery as mentioned on the 3rd. And his next step is obviously going to be the big question, because we've seen him try to play Evos and upgrades early. We've seen him try to play a lair and a Bane Nest early. And, I mean, neither of them really worked. But only because, I mean, both times things went wrong. First of all, the Evo game, the upgrade game, he took too much damage, and then he just died to the follow-up, and he took a fight he couldn't take. Trying to protect the base he couldn't protect. And then in the game after, the one where he went for the faster lair, he didn't get Bane speed! Honestly, I find that absolutely astounding. So yeah, it really has been kind of like... It's been 2 games earlier where you can't really take those and be like, oh yeah, I think he's going to do this after seeing what he did earlier on. Because honestly, no, there's absolutely nothing he did early on that inspires me to believe he can, like, say, yes, this is the one that's going to work now. I'm going to go for that Banshee. Just a safety Banshee more than anything, right? Fast 3cc. If roaches show up, that Banshee's going to be a real saver for Clem. He's going to be, it's going to be a gift from God almost, because it's just such a good defensive tool to a lot of what the Zerg can do early. Now, we obviously can see that Rogue isn't doing anything early, but Clem's scouting is limited to what he can see on the 3rd base, and until he sees a few more drones on that 3rd, he might still, he has reason to be somewhat skeptical as to what Rogue is getting up to. And again, it's not even that aggressive of a Banshee, right? There's not a lot of gas in the game, so you can't go Banshee and Cloak without delaying Stim. So it is just 1 Banshee, Cloakless. Add a little bit of defense. Obviously, this Banshee can still dive in and get a few drones. That's what we oftentimes see once he realizes, right, there's absolutely no roaches. Let's pick off 2-3 workers with this Banshee, trade it out. Just the value of it having been safe for building it early is already worthwhile. So a couple of drones on top. It's just, again, bonus territory as Clem. A little bit of a fight as to whether he wanted to build a barracks or an engineering bay in that wall. Of course, he already has 2 racks on the way, so engineering bays are the typical next step before we then go into barracks number 4 and 5. And then it's once that 3rd CC gets landed, and we really from there see, does Clem just go to 8 racks? Does he add on the 2nd factory and think about base number 4? That's when we're really going to figure out the style of Clem in this game. Because this Banshee does show up, and as a 2nd Spore Crawl in the main, I think Rogue saw the Banshee and is responding to it and respecting it. But almost a little bit too much. As this Banshee gets pushed away, and I wonder if he cancels that Spore now, realizing perhaps he doesn't need it because the Banshee's taken so much damage it didn't try to cloak up. These Hellions actually get caught as well, so Clem is going to lose a few of these Hellions already. Quite a few going down as the Lings will continue to give chase. The Hellions back away. Okay, the Hellions get out of there. He did finish up this 2nd Spore Rogue, so he does commit to that safety that maybe wasn't necessary. And hey, friends, we already have our answer. There's barracks number 6, 7, and 8 already on the way down. So this is absolutely going to be a huge push from Clem. And he's going to maybe even start the pressure with the 1-1 attack. And then just keep it going from there, especially when Rogue built into the Spire and these Mutalisks. He's obviously going to look to force Clem to defend, but it means if Clem can get across the map, the aggression from Clem can then go a long, long way to helping out. As you're going to see a couple of mules dropping down. That 3rd base already being established. It's a pretty nice little positive, for sure. It just slows down for a few moments. Obviously, Clem's realizing that this is a lair. He got that scout with the Banshee, so knowing it's a lair, he knows there's probably mutas coming up, so he's setting up the missile turrets. He's not going out on the map too early. He's going to wait for those upgrades, and obviously Rogue is waiting for those Mutalisks to be able to create his pressure. This Banshee, by the way, did get home, did get repaired, flies back out just to find the Mutalisks. That's a little bit unfortunate, but you got to appreciate the effort, if nothing else. Just go diving into this main base, going to come through and... well, Reactor taking a bit of damage. Missile turrets are going to fire, and the Mutas taking some hits. Marines will stem into that main, and the Mutas do fly away off over to the side. I mean, this was not a bad start, right? You kill a Reactor. A Reactor is always one of those very important structures early in the game. The thing is, though, Clem's on 8 racks, and I don't know how much he actually cares about the Reactor versus just pumping out Marines here. Right, just go for the continuous Marine production anyway. A few Lings on the left side are found, and now we've got Ling Muta running in on the right. Clem. I mean, a lot of his Marines are back toward the natural and main. So that's why this fight looks a little bit scary initially. Of course, Rogue's just setting up these attacks because he wants to buy time. He wants to get himself a chance to get to Bane speed, to get to that point where those Banelings are rolling around the map nice and quickly and getting a lot done. Ling Muta army to the left is going to start running in. These Marines are going to pull back. Another unit showing up, and those Lings get turned away pretty swiftly. Now out into the center here. Clem moving up through the middle. We do see 17 Banelings currently morphing from Rogue. As the Marines push all the way through the center still. Marines and tanks. The Lings are going to go diving by. Where do they want to go? Onto the third base, apparently. Okay. Rogue doesn't have the Bane speed until just now. He's also not got 1-1 just yet, so you might want to wait for that as these Lings countering. The SCVs are going to hold, and he actually pulls the Lings back, but he takes a lot of damage in the process. And Rogue's going to lose his 4th base to begin with here, so 4th down already. It's already a stellar start from Clem, because if nothing else, it's going to deny some of the production that Rogue maybe wants. Fortunately, there is a macro hatchery in the main base. There is still that extra lava coming in from somewhere at least. He's going to try and make a dive for the tanks. He actually gets 1-2 medevacs. That's not a bad pick-off. Definitely take away the healing of this army if it has to stim multiple times for sure. Lings and Banes from every direction as Rogue comes crashing through. He's going to find himself most of the Marines. The tanks are going to fall. He needs to get rid of that tank, though. And he does get it. The Mutas come back in and sweep down the final few Marines. And Clem is going to be defended on the first big push. Still has some success stories from this, though, right? The 4th base being killed is massive. He's delayed 2-2 from Rogue because Rogue's been so focused on clearing this up. He's forgotten to go for 2-2 or decided not to go for 2-2 just yet. And those are big things that will power up another push from Clem here. As he hits 2-2 and pushes yet again, there may still be trouble for Rogue in this game. The first push was good enough. And that scares me a little bit because Rogue, obviously tournament life on the line, we might already be waving goodbye to him here in the near future. Yeah, well, let's see what he can do. Of course, he does have tools. He's got, Mutas to harass with. I'd love to see some Ling Bane setting up. I know Clem's doing a very good job, like these Marines scouting or spotting. I'd love to see some run-by potential again. Maybe even into like the natural or toward the... honestly, either or. Just something so that you don't have to... You have some way to pull Clem back and to take his tension away. So that could be one way to win this fight, right? You know, even if it's not been so great for Rogue in the last one, and he's going to be down upgrades... You can distract Clem, make him mess up the splits, and all of a sudden you crash in with Banelings. Well, that can be huge. I mean, he's also on a very, lackluster siege tank count because he lost the tanks before. So that's definitely, got a positive. So I love the idea of distracting. He's going to dive in. The Mutas are going to go for SCVs. Okay, well, you're going to lose the 4th base because there just isn't enough units there. Matter of factly. He does actually turn back around pretty quick as well. And now these Lings didn't know what they wanted to do either. They could have run by. They could have just gone for it. They're going to get the run by in the end, but this could have been so much sooner. He's all the way up into the main. Well, he's going to go for the reinforcements here. There's a thought to pick off. The Mutas have taken the beating, by the way. So many of these Lings went down fighting this without the Muta support to begin with. He is going to sit and camp the production, but that means Rogue still needs to clear up this army. The Banes are starting to make their way through, but the tank siege and Rogue realizes he can't just keep running purely Banelings at his opponent in that scenario. I do like the camping of the production, though. It does take away Clem's options, but the rest of the Banes get caught. Oh, there's 14 more as well, and they're out to the bottom side. If they came in at the same time, maybe there was hope. Now there's still maybe. Oh, the splits are good from Clem, despite being on creep, and he has enough Marines to keep fighting. And now there aren't any Banelings ready from Rogue to fly in from anywhere. And despite these reinforcements being denied as they spawn, there's just not an army from Rogue that's going to be able to get on the map, I don't think. This is really troubling. These tanks are still picking off Lings. Oh, if Rogue's Banelings here had come in at the same time as the attack on the bottom side, that might have just been enough to make this work. But now I'm not seeing it at all. Yeah, I still think this is a problem, but, you know, Rogue is having the exact same thing done to him back at home, only in worse condition, right? He is losing bases and drones way faster than Clem is. I mean, these Widow Mines are slowly picking off Mutalisks as well, one at a time. I mean, there's just a few Widow Mines that got burrowed, and they actually just did so much over time to those Mutas. That Mutalisk count was nothing to shout about at the end of this. 7 Mutas were remaining. There was still a ton of Marines on the other side, and that means Clem takes it down. Well, you know what, guys? I'm just excited that we got ourselves a game number 4, and we got something past the 10-minute marker, because the start of this series honestly left a lot to be desired. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the best. Through and through, it really could have been something just a little bit better here. But you know what? Sometimes these series happen, and we had 2 amazing series at the start of this tournament. One of them, you know, they couldn't all be amazing, right? We got to take a hit somewhere. It was still a fun series and really cool to see Clem bouncing back and able to take Rogue down today. And that means that Clem moves through to the semifinals, where he would play the winner of Stats versus Sue. So that's a PvZ. That will, I don't know if that one's already up or if it's going to go up one after. I didn't decide which order to do these in yet. So originally I was going to do Rogue Clem after or before Stats 2, but because this was not as good a series, I might do it after. I say as good a series, I didn't cast Stats 2 yet, but I thought the series might be a bit cooler. Because there's a bit more kind of a bit shorter, I might do it after Stats 2, just because different days have different benefits to uploading. So we'll see, guys, we'll see. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, of course. As always, have a great day, and I hope you really enjoyed the games, of course. More from the YouTube Invitational over the next week or so.